We went to Chengdu this March for our 4-point trip. On this trip, the best thing for me is my progress of English and taste many spicy dishes, which are Chengdu's traditional foods. We visited many things like Chengdu Museum and saw pandas. We also stayed with host families. My host family are very friendly, and the hosts brought us to experience many things, like going to some famous places and to a friend's song release. In our host school, we got to experience a Chinese school, which was a very familiar feeling for me. Chengdu is a very good place for people to live, and for me, the environment and the local food are very good. I hope I will go to Chengdu again soon.
Chinese opera is absolutely nothing like the American idea of opera. It's loud, it's colorful, and ours was inside of a tiny building with cloth instead of a door. As weird as it was a valuable and pretty cool experience of local culture. In Chengdu, we also got to have hot pot for the second time. Hot pot, if you've never tried it, is basically a boiling pot that you drop meat and vegetables into to cook. Because we were in Chengdu, the restaurant felt spicy. It's an amazing smell, but it's a bit of a warning about the food we would be trying. As our group so eloquently put it, there was a wimp pot and the spicy pot. Most everyone took at least a bite from the spicy pot, and some people used it for their whole meal.
After our spicy adventure, we went on to explore Taikoo Li, a gigantic shopping mall in the middle of Chengdu. It was a whole fancy sprawl of businesses with more mall-like buildings across the street, and beneath it was a whole nother level with shops and a cinema where we watched Beauty and the Beast and A Dog's Purpose. We spent most of our time in a 3-story Starbucks and even found some amazing ice cream, thus beginning the ice cream count, which I hope will be explained later. The giant mall would have been a perfect place to enact the 10% rule, but 2 hours of shopping apparently wasn't enough time to get lost in the maze that Taikoo Li is.
The second day we went to the Leshan Giant Buddha. As we hiked down, we went to a fish pond. We got to feed them, and we took a lot of pictures of fish and Shuba, demonstrated how to consciously fall into water. Then we started to hike down. We ended up getting lost.
While we were wandering, we found a really cool bridge, but we were not able to go on it. We also found some more ice cream to lift our tally upwards. After all of that, we met up with our hosts again and we went our separate directions. Some of us went back to Taikoo Li to go and see Beauty and the Beast. By the time it was over, it was very late, and we went to bed to get ready for the very next day.
We went to the Chengdu mountain. It was humid and exciting, with a little bit of rain. We slowly climbed the Chengdu mountain. It is a famous Taoist sanctuary. Taoist is one of several beliefs in China. It is a wonderful memory for our 4-point in Chengdu.
After going to the mountain, we went to Chengdu's irrigation system, which prevented the city from being flooded every year. It's a very popular historical site with temples, food vendors, and shops. We saw many groups of school children, and that's where we had the highest ice cream count.
On Freshman 4-point, we and our hosts had the weekend to individually explore Chinese culture. Our one Chengdu group split into smaller groups to go to different locations throughout the Sichuan province. The goal of this was to further experience China away from Gould and to closer connect to our hosts. One group visited hot springs in the Sichuan mountains, while others visited an old village on the coast of a large river.
During the weekend, you would spend more time getting to know your host and what they like to do. During this, you would hang out with some of your host's friends that were not hosting other kids from the school. Also, the 2 groups was good, because you would never be by yourself, and you would also make more friendships too. During the weekend, you also did things that other people from Gould have not, making it different from all the stories that other people tell you.
On the 5th and final day in Chengdu, we went to the Chengdu research base of giant panda breeding. In the morning, we got out of having to introduce ourselves in front of the entire school, which consisted of 3,000 kids. That's 12.5 times the amount of students at Gould. We were given our own Chengdu experimental foreign language school jackets, and then we were on our bus, the Loaf, and driving to the panda base. We spent the majority of our day here, walking around and looking at all the adorable pandas. There were the red pandas, which were smaller and kind of cat-like, and the giant pandas, which were lazy and ate bamboo. We all bought lots of panda stuff, such as panda vests, giant stuffed pandas, and panda hats. When we were done at the panda base, we drove back to the school and had a party with our hosts and those who came to Gould in the fall. At the end of the party, we had finished our final day in Chengdu. The next day, we were boarding planes, coming back home.
On the last day, we woke up at 4 a.m. to fly from Chengdu to Beijing. The flight wasn't too bad because I slept most of the way. From there, we had an hour in the Beijing airport before it was time to head home. The 14-hour flight wasn't as bad as it was before because we knew what to expect. Once we arrived in Boston, we collected our bags, got on the bus, stopped at Starbucks, and then went back to Gould.